And now I present to you Nyla struggling to open the page. Hey, what's up, people on the internet out there? Nyla here, and guess what? It's still August. It's the first half of August, and you know what? I'll consider this on time, so here we are with my August plan with me. So since we're still in summer, I decided to make this a staycation theme. Emphasis on the stay, since at the end of August, me and my friends from college are all going to an Airbnb in LA just to go stay in the house for 3 days because social distancing is still a thing and it's not like we'll be leaving the house anytime soon. So starting off, I want to talk about my theme specifically. I wanted to emphasize the flamingos because I am not the biggest fan of the color pink, and making that a big part of the spread is helping me branch out a little more and learn to accept the color more. Also, this is my theme because one of the houses that we looked at was flamingo themed, and the mom friend of our group told me that I can't dislike that house just because it's quote unquote too pink, which it was. It was very, very pink. I used the color combination of blue, pink, and yellow for August because I wanted it to look more summery, and I know that August is typically warmer colors, which is what I originally wanted to do, but I never really did a summer theme this year, so this is what we're sticking with. So now that I've explained my theme a little bit, I'm going to go into what I've already done for my cover page. I used my favorite pens, the Crayola Super Tips, in order to create the title. I used 2 different blues to add a shadow effect, but also because I thought black might be a little too harsh. To draw the flamingos, I used a neon pink mild liner to get the basic shape, and then I used a Crayola Super Tip to make the bottom of the flamingo's body darker. I used a Pigma Micron just to outline the flamingo and add small little details, and then I used this Dingbats Auto Pen in yellow to add the flamingo legs. I also drew some green leaves because this page was a little too empty, and it fits with the theme well. Also, I just quickly want to say, I know it's not the beginning of August, nor is it the end of July when I should have been uploading this, but the video took me 3 days to actually film, so I'm sorry if the lighting is off. I tried to fix it to the best of my abilities. It took me a while to edit, and this voiceover actually took me even longer to do. So I did prolong this, and I apologize, but I hope I can get my September up on time now that I'm not taking any summer classes, and I basically have not much to do. I also added green leaves to this page because I feel like it fit with the theme and it also completed the page a little bit more. So I finished this page by adding a little bit of washi tape and also this yellow line outside to connect the washi tape because I feel like both of these things completed the page perfectly. And that is it for my cover page. So next up we have our monthly log, and I had a different idea initially, but after completing my cover page I decided to keep up with the whole yellow outline style. Using that style to my advantage, I decided to create a bar where I can write in the number of the days for the week instead of making boxes. Again, the dimensions stay the same, it's still technically a 5x5 box, but instead I just have a full bar going across all 7 boxes. I don't know if that makes sense, and I don't know if any of this will make sense, but hopefully after I write in the numbers you can see it a little bit better. Actually, drawing in these boxes was probably the most time-consuming thing I actually had to do because I had to first outline the box, and then I had to color it in, and then I had to color it in again because the yellow is not bright enough. So I ended up just watching some YouTube videos while I was coloring this in, and then I got interrupted in the middle of coloring it in, and this took me so long to finish. I don't know if I'll ever do this type of spread again. Maybe if I use a darker color, but we'll see how it goes. So I just wanted to quickly mention that when I'm looking for my theme, I try to avoid Pinterest as much as possible because I like to find a theme that is going to revolve around what I'm doing that month and more of my everyday life. I really enjoy having my theme correlate to my life because then it's more significant in a way. Obviously, some months there's nothing to correlate to, but I try to find something that I enjoy. After completing that tedious task of filling in those boxes, I decided to write out the days of the week with my pink Dingbats Auto Pen, and I highlighted it with that same mild liner that I used earlier, just so I could separate the columns a little bit better. I kept the font as cursive because I just liked the way that it looked with the rest of the spread. And of course, I added in the title at the top in the same font that I used on the cover page, as always. And I also wrote monthly log in not cursive, just so I know what exact spread this is. As if I didn't already know what spread it is, because I am the one who made the spread. So then I added a little shadow onto the title because I like the way that the two-tone blue looks in the title. Adding the shadow adds dimension, but it isn't too distracting for the eyes because it's not too dark. So I actually really like this part at the bottom of the page because I had this idea originally and I thought I wasn't going to incorporate it because I changed the whole monthly log layout, but turns out I still had a lot of empty space at the bottom since August ends on a Monday. So I decided to draw waves. I used the same blue marker that I used to draw the title and I just colored it in and I drew a wave pattern on top, obviously, to replicate that wave. I used the darker blue to add more dimension and make it look like there are multiple waves. It's like the ocean. And I used this white pen to make it look like foam was at the end of the waves, because you know how when you're at the beach and the waves come down and there's a little bit of white foam? I used my white pen to do that, and to replicate it, what I did was I took the white pen and I drew it in half circular motions on both sides to make sure that it came out perfectly fine, because if I drew full circles it wouldn't work out, but luckily this is an old pen, so there was scattered, and it came out perfectly fine, and I honestly really enjoy how it looks. After I finished drawing the waves, I took my pink auto pen and wrote out the days in the calendar. I wrote it on the right hand side so that way I can tell where the box ends a little bit easier since the heading doesn't really define where the box ends toward the bottom. So I used the same green marker that I used to draw the leaves on the cover page to make my notes square and my goals square on the left hand side of the spread. I didn't mean for the line to be that thick, but because there was something else on the page behind it, I couldn't really get a straight line the first time I drew it, so I ended up having to go over it multiple times. So as you saw before I moved the book over, I ended up just writing goals and notes with a black pen because I wanted to keep a simplistic look and I didn't want it to look overcrowded so I could have as much space as possible. So of course I wanted to add a flamingo, so I drew a little flamingo that was peeking its head out onto the page, and of course finished up with the small details. I drew a leaf on the top next to the title, and I added some washi tape. I also wrote Seize the Day at the bottom, but wrote Seize as an S-E-A-S because, wordplay, and I lost that footage for some reason, so it's just there. If you've watched some of my previous videos, if not, you should go check them out, you'll know that I keep my trackers page pretty consistent most of the time. I would change it up, but I finally found the best way for me to track my stuff, and I've done it since December of 2018. So if I do experiment, I probably wouldn't change that much. Maybe with my expense tracker, since it's never really been that helpful. So starting off this page, I drew a yellow box, and then I wrote trackers in the same blue font that I've been using since the beginning of this plan with me, and added the types of trackers underneath it in pink, which again, habit, mood, sleep, and anxiety. I drew the box for the habit tracker, and I numbered it, and that's when I messed up really badly. When drawing the yellow box outline, I didn't leave enough room for 31 days, but 30, because July has 31 days, and I completely forgot August also has 31 days too. And yes, I know I wrote 31 in my monthly log, but I looked back to my July tracker spread to complete my August tracker spread, so I got confused. So because of that, I had to go through and white out all the numbers so I could rewrite it correctly. But now looking back at it, I should have either just whited out the whole entire thing, or I should have used extra paper and glued it on top, but everything is fine. So while I have your attention, before I continue this plan with me, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting me from the start and whoever started supporting me recently. This is my 4th video that I've put out, and I'm overwhelmed with the amount of support I'm receiving. So thank you all so much, and I hope that I continue to put out content that you enjoy. So I added a little pink highlighter in the spot to fill out my habits. I drew the box for my triple tracker and wrote in the numbers for the sleep trackers. Added the emojis for my mood tracker in yellow and the correct anxiety levels in blue. Again, low on top because low anxiety means happy mood. High anxiety, probably bad mood. I almost forgot the days of the week for the top of the tracker, but I did add it in. So of course I wanted to add some element on this page that had to do with the theme of this plan with me, and so I decided to add a couple of flamingos. The way I went about it was I decided to draw the heads of flamingos at the bottom of the page where I had some extra space. I drew a parent flamingo head, a baby flamingo head, and then I decided to just add washi tape, and I was going to finish that, but I felt like it was still a little bit empty, so I added one more flamingo, making it a family. And now for the least helpful part of my bullet journal, my expense tracker. So I do keep it every single month. I might want to change it up to see if it'll actually be helpful, but to keep it simple, I drew a green rectangle, I wrote the title on the side, and I wrote date, description, and plus minus on top, because I am going to keep track of it and I might not run out of space this month. One more piece of washi tape and that is my trackers page. My positives page is next, and I keep it how I always do. This is a page that will never change its format because this is the most effective way to have it. In fact, I've been using this page ever since I first started bullet journaling, which it has been a while, so I think I know that this is going to be the one that works for me the most, and I'm going to be able to write down as much as I want to, have enough space for everything, and it always still looks nice in the end, so it's never a problem. So I ended up just writing the title in the same font. I drew out the numbers in pink, I added one flamingo for a little additive touch, and I added some washi tape, of course. I also remembered that August had 31 days this time because of the mistake that I made in my trackers page, so I didn't mess up while writing the numbers, which honestly is an amazing and a rare occasion because for some reason whenever I write my positives page I always mess up on like one number because I guess in my head when I'm counting I just count really fast and I don't end up writing it, and it's just like it's always a mess. Like I'll forget the number 9 sometimes like I did last month, or I might forget a different number. Who knows what number I'm gonna forget next, but I don't really mind it because it's something that happens. Human nature, human error, it's common. My positives page will always be my favorite to do because I love completing it and looking back at all the positive moments that I had within the month. And if you've never done a page like this, like a gratitude page or a positive page, I would highly suggest it because during times like these, it's actually really helpful to look back and see the things that spark joy because they may be small, but 3 positive things can happen every single day. So I brought back the brain dump for August. I didn't need it in July, but because of the staycation, I feel like it's actually going to be very useful this month. There are going to be a lot of random things that I need to jot down and remember, and it's always nice to have them all in one place, as I've said before. It could be a list of things we need to remember to take, or something that I need to grab from home to take with me. It could be my packing list. It could be anything. And I also just really like planning in general, so if we need to plan out anything, I can use this page. Again, it's a brain dump, so literally I can use this page for anything. So the way that I did this was I just ended up drawing a yellow box. I ended up writing the title in the same font, and I drew 2 flamingos, and I did this at the bottom of the page because my logic was I wanted to have more space at top to write out more things, but the position makes no difference because it's the same amount of space. But psychologically, it really makes a difference in my head, which is obvious because psychologically would be in my head no matter what. Moving on, I ended up using the next page as a blank page. I was going to draw something out and like use a quote page or something, but I realized I might have pictures from the staycation that I could put here and do more of a scrapbooky page because I haven't done a scrapbook page in a while because there's nothing to scrapbook. And we are nearing the end of the video now, and this is my weekly spread. I kept my weekly spread the same since this is my last week of summer classes, so I'm going to have a lot to do. And also because it's the first week of August, so I'll actually have a lot to do to get this video up. Which, yes, I didn't get it up within the first week, but I tried, and that is what matters. On top of the spread, we have the weekly events, which I used my pink auto pen for, and I just boxed it out, wrote in the days of the week and the numbers, and that was that. I used my yellow auto pen to separate my 3 lists: my personal, my business, and my school. Then I used my green super tip to write out the other category and the grocery category. I kept all the fonts as consistent as possible because I didn't want anything to look different. Again, we like a good cohesive plan with me. And you'll see in the end, but I draw a couple of flamingos and add some washi tape and call it a day. Since it's not the first week of August and I'm uploading this after completing the first week of August, I just wanted to say that this spread is actually one of the most helpful spreads that I've ever done. It has been the most helpful because I have a place to write down tasks that I need to do on specific days in case things are due or in case I just want to do things on a specific day, but also putting it on the other to-do list just makes it easier for me to separate what I want to do throughout the week. So on Monday, I'll see what I have time for, and then Tuesday, and I'll just do what I need to do, and I'll still get everything done. It's not like me writing a bunch of stuff on Monday and then getting half of it done and having to move it over to Tuesday. I really like the idea of just having one to-do list and checking things off as the days go by. Since school doesn't start up until October for me, I'm probably not going to do this spread until October, but it has been the most helpful, so I'm probably going to consider doing it when I'm in school. It's the best weekly spread that I can do for quarantine because I have a lot of tasks to do and it's a little harder to separate days when your whole school is online. Now that I've tried out different spreads and I've tried out different things, I've realized that this might just be the best method for online school, and I'm probably going to do it again in October. But until then, I'm probably just going to do my half-page weekly spreads since it's summer and I don't have as many tasks to do besides making YouTube videos. And I'm going to make a promise now that my September will be up at the end of August. I hope. And that is it for my August plan with me. That is another month of 2020 gone, another month that I've actually posted. I'm so overwhelmed by the support that I've received from all of my family and friends, and also just from strangers out there who found me on YouTube, which is amazing and crazy to think about. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you next month. But for now, peace out, y'all.